In this video, we're going to look at some design elements of Excel. We have our spreadsheet, the same one that I was working on in the last video, except now I've added a couple of additional rows, added a title and a subtitle. So we have everything we need. We have the data, we have totals. This is a useful spreadsheet, but it's not real attractive. We can do a lot to modify the design and make it more attractive, more useful, especially if we're going to be printing this out for a meeting or something or a business presentation. So here's few things that we can do. First, we start up here with the title, subtitle. We should obviously make these stand out. Now the title is in cell A1, and we talked about this earlier, how it'll flow into cell B1, but we don't necessarily always want to just let it flow over, especially in this case since it's a title. We want to center it, and we don't want to type it over here in cell D1. So what I'm going to do, just like we've done in Excel or in Word tables, is I'm going to merge all these cells. I'm going to highlight A1 through F1, and then in a Word table, you would have to go up to the Layout tab, but here in Excel, merging is such a common feature that's actually right here on the Home tab, and it's right here in the Alignment group, and here is Merge and Center. So I'm going to click Merge and Center, and there we go. My title is now merged across cells A1 through F1, and I'm going to do the same thing for my subtitle, highlight those cells and merge and center those. Now I'm going to make them stand out a little bit better. In Word, you know how to do various design things like for titles, headings, etc. Well, the same things exist here in Excel, and you'll find that under Cell Styles. So I'm going to change my Row 1 style here from A1 to F1 to, actually I'm going to choose a title. I'm going to make this a title. And I'm going to do the same thing for my subtitle. So I'm going to go to Cell Styles, Title. However, this is the main title, this is a subtitle, and it really doesn't look good having them the exact same size. However, I do like having them the same color, same font, and all that. But what I'm going to do to make sure that it's obvious that this is the subtitles, I'm just going to decrease the font size a little bit. And there we go. So there's my title, my subtitle. Here are my column headings. So for my column headings, what I'm going to do is highlight those, go up to Cell Styles. I'm going to choose one of the heading styles. We have heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. When you only have one level of headings, it really doesn't matter which one you choose. I think heading 1 is a little bit too big here, so I'm going to choose heading 2 for mine. Now coming down to the row headings, I'm actually going to highlight all of these. And then what I'm going to do for my row headings is choose one of the color options here, and I'm going to come over to the accent 5 and notice how it's updating those. Let's see which one looks good. Guess it really doesn't matter. I'm going to choose this one, the 40% accent 5. Okay, so it's starting to look a little bit better. Now I should have probably undone this. I already had all these numbers formatted without ever showing you how to do it. So what I'm going to do is get rid of those. So I guess that's not a bad thing that I do this, because this is going to show you how you can clear formatting if you ever need to. To clear the cell styles or clear formatting if you ever need to do that, all you have to do is come up here to the editing group, and you'll see this little icon right here. This is a little, it's I guess supposed to be an eraser. If you click the drop down, you can see where it says clear all. Now I don't want to clear all. Here's what clear all does. Okay, it gets rid of everything. I didn't want to do that. I have clear formats, clear contents, etc. Obviously what I want right here is I want to clear just the formats. I don't want to get rid of the contents and numbers. I'm going to clear the formats. So that's how you clear formats if you ever need to do so. Now that I've cleared those, I'm going to put them back in. I'm going to show you how I did that. In Excel, it is quite common, especially when dealing with a spreadsheet like this where you have a bunch of numbers with totals, to use what's known as accounting style. An accounting style typically has the dollar signs in the first row, but then they don't repeat the dollar signs. And the reason you don't repeat the dollar signs, if I do the dollar signs for all of these, I'll go ahead and do that. Here's your accounting style. So my number group, the dollar sign here, that is the accounting format. Notice all those dollar signs. It kind of looks cluttered. So typically what you will see done is we will highlight the first row and use the accounting style. And then we'll do the same thing down here in the totals row. I'm going to highlight that and do the accounting style. And actually, while I'm down here in the totals row, I am going to highlight all of that, and I'm going to go to my cell styles, and I'm going to display this as a totals row, which what that does is it puts a single border above, double border below, and then it also made all of those bold. And so now you can see these numbers are getting a little bit easier to read. Now, these numbers in between are also dollar amounts, and you'll see though that they don't have the 0.00, they don't have the dollar sign, which is fine. We don't want the dollar sign, but we do want it to kind of match that dollar format where this would be $4,834.00. Well, to do that, we use what's known as comma style, which is actually a part of accounting style. So I'm going to highlight this whole range, and I'm going to come up here to this icon right here in the number group, and it's just a comma. And you can see when I put my mouse here, it says comma style. And that does everything that the accounting style does, except it doesn't put the dollar sign in. So it moved everything over. You can see that, like compared to these numbers down here, these are flush right. It moved them over, added just a little bit of padding to the right side, moves them over, also adds the 0.00 since none of my numbers had actual cents. It's just everything is rounded off to a dollar, but it does display the 00 cents. All right, and now down here what I'm going to do is show you a different style. There's two different ways you can show dollar signs. One is the accounting format. The other, if I click on this drop down where it says general, here are my other formats. And I'll back up here and explain what you're seeing here. These are some of the most commonly used features. So we've talked about this one, the dollar sign, this accounting format, the comma style. Let me click on this cell. These two, what these do is increase and decrease the number of decimal places that are shown. So that's what these two buttons do. And then the other one should be kind of common sense. This one would display it as a percent. These are the common ones. There are additional formats though, and that's what's shown here in this drop down. And what I want for the cells down here is I'm going to use currency. And I'm going to do that to show you the difference between currency and accounting. So I'm going to select currency. And there's two things that you'll notice that are different. And let me make this column really wide to really emphasize the difference. One is where the location of the dollar sign is. Accounting format always puts the dollar sign flush left in the cell, whereas currency style puts the dollar sign wherever the number is. So this one is referred to as a fixed dollar sign because it always stays in the same location, flush left. This is a floating dollar sign because it goes wherever the number is. If the number is way over here, it floats clear over with the number, etc. That's why it's known as floating dollar sign. So that's one difference between the accounting and the currency styles. The other, accounting, we mentioned before how it moves everything over, it adds a little bit of padding to the right. Currency doesn't do that. It keeps everything flush right. So two different ways that you can show dollar signs within your data. Wanted to make sure I showed both those, and so you know the difference. And I think for right now, for this video, since we're getting very long again, I will end there. There's your formatting for this particular spreadsheet.